The Holy Gospel according to St. John, the 12th chapter. We're really doing well today, aren't we? Now, among those who went up to worship at the festival were some Greeks. They came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, and said to him, "Sir, we wish to see Jesus." Philip went and told Andrew. Then Andrew and Philip went and told Jesus. And Jesus answered them, "The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Very truly I tell you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains just a single grain. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. Those who love their life will lose it, and those who hate their life in this world will keep it for eternal life. Whoever serves me must follow me, and where I am, there will my servant be also. Whoever serves me, the Father will honor. Now my soul is troubled, and what should I say? Father, save me from this hour? No, it is for this reason that I have come to this hour. Father, glorify your name." Then a voice came from heaven, "I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again." The crowd standing there heard it and said that it was thunder. Others said, "An angel has spoken to him." Jesus answered, "This voice has come for your sake, not for mine. Now is the judgment of the world. Now the ruler of this world will be driven out, and I, when I am lifted up from the earth, will draw all people to myself." He said this to indicate the kind of death he was to die. The Gospel of the Lord. You may be seated. So the summer before Terry died, he was in the hospital for quite a period of time. And I stayed with him. They had a couch there where you could sleep. And so I was sitting there one day, and Terry was sleeping, and I was working on something, and I heard this noise like an explosion. And so I looked out the window, which I was sitting right beside the window, and I didn't see anything. And so I thought, well, something made a noise. And so I went ahead with working, and it was evening, it was growing dark, and pretty soon I heard another explosion. And I thought, okay, something is happening. And then I heard a couple more explosions, and I looked out the window, and here were the fireworks going up in the sky. It was the 4th of July. I had lost track of time. So in that gospel lesson today, we hear that Jesus hears God say something, but other people hear him say something different. And so he said, "Father, glorify thy name." And some people heard what they thought was thunder, and other people said, it's angel talk. We don't understand that. But the voice came and it said, "I have glorified it, and I will glorify it again." You see, Jesus had glorified God's name by the healings, the casting out of demons, the walking on water, stilling storms, and all of those things that he had done had glorified God. But now was the time coming when God would be glorified in a way that had not been seen before. Have to keep in mind that just the week before, this is the Holy Week. Jesus is living in the Holy Week right now. And the week before, he had raised Lazarus from the dead. Hint, hint. But the people don't get it, and his disciples don't get it. And so he keeps telling them what's going to happen to him, and they don't believe it. They have it in their mind that the Messiah is going to come, the Messiah will reign forever, the Messiah will always be there, but what the Messiah will do is he will lead them in an army against Rome, and they will conquer Rome and all the forces of the world, and the Messiah will be enthroned, and the disciples are going to be on both sides of him. They even argue about what order they're going to be in. And so Jesus says, the Son of Man must be lifted up, like the snake in the wilderness. Remember, we talked about that last week, how the snakes were biting the people because they didn't believe in God anymore. They were in the Exodus, and finally God said, take a pole, make a snake, put it on the top of it. When they look at it, they'll live. At least they won't die. So now Jesus says, I'm going to be lifted up. I'm going to be on a pole. The Son of Man is going to be lifted up. And they don't get it. They still think they're going to be involved. There's going to be this army. They're going to go and they're going to take over and they're going to show the people that God reigns by force. The thing is that God doesn't work by force. God works through the greatest power on earth, and that is the power of love. There is no greater power. And it was through love that God would conquer the world, that he would establish his throne forever. And so on that Good Friday, we see that's coming. He's going to be lifted up. He's going to suffer. He's going to die. And Jesus knows that. And the interesting thing is that John is the only one who tells us that Jesus is troubled during this Holy Week. The others kind of wait until Friday morning early when he's in the garden and Jesus is sweating drops like blood. But John says during this week he was troubled. He wanted support, but he kept telling his disciples what was going to happen, and they didn't believe him. They already had in their minds what was going to happen, and that's the way it was going to be. So he had to walk this road alone. No one could do it for him. No one was going to accompany him. It was something that he had to do himself. And so he said something. He said, now is the judgment of the world. Now the world's ruler is going to be thrown out. Those who believed in him would no longer look at the powers of force, the power of the sword, and say that was the most powerful force. He was going to conquer the world by being defeated. We don't like that. It goes against what we believe. But the fact is that by going to the cross, by being scourged to within an inch of his life, by going to the cross and hanging there for 3 hours, which was the worst kind of torture that Rome knew, by dying, by being buried, and then, surprise, he came back to life. That was the power of love. That was the power that would conquer the world. It would not be done through councils. It would not be done by armies. It would be done by one man dying on a cross for us, for you and I, so that we could walk with him. He lives still, and he's there to accompany us in this journey through life. Whatever troubles we face, whatever obstacles are thrown in our path, Jesus is there to carry us through. It's true. You know, he came, and if you read on, it says, the light will be with you only a little while. Walk while you're in the light. And we have to remember that, to walk with Jesus while we're in the light, because that's the way the world will be conquered.